a fragile paper airplane, a house full of hidden dangers, and only 2 arrow keys to survive. That's Glider, one of Macintosh gaming's most quietly magical classics. In this video, I'll take you through the history of Glider, from its humble black and white beginnings to its colorful upgrades, its community-driven expansions, and even its modern reboots, to see how a simple idea became something timeless. Glider's story begins in 1988, when the game's author, John Calhoun, released the first version for the Macintosh Plus. He published it under his little shareware label, Soft Dorothy Software, and distribution was about as grassroots as it gets. Floppy disks swapped between friends, and files uploaded to university FTP servers. At its heart, Glider was about gliding a paper airplane through a house one room at a time. Gravity was always dragging you downwards, so survival depended on catching air currents from vents or even the faint heat of a candle. Though drift too close, and your fragile plane would burst into flames. The obstacles were cleverly mundane. Tables and shelves that blocked your path, electrical outlets zapped you on contact, and even the family cat guarded the final window, ready to swipe if you dared approach too closely. To boost your score, you could collect clocks, while sheets of paper acted as extra lives. The concept caught on quickly, and Calhoun wasted no time expanding it. In 1989, he released Glider 2.0, offered as shareware for $5. For those who wanted more, there was also a $10 option, which included the latest version of the game, plus the full source code on floppy disk, a rare opportunity to peek behind the curtain and see how it all worked. By 1990, Glider 3.0 arrived with added sound effects, and over the years the series continued with refinements until finally ending with Glider 3.14 in 1993, which was made freeware to promote the upcoming commercial release of Glider 4.0. Through all these iterations, the core never changed. A deceptively simple control scheme, a whimsical household turned dangerous, and an addictive loop that kept players saying, "Just one more try." That mix of simplicity and imagination gave Glider its lasting charm. It wasn't violent or flashy, but it captured something uniquely Macintosh, a game built from clever design, whimsical obstacles, and the joy of mastering a deceptively simple concept. By the early 90s, Glider had grown from a quirky shareware experiment into something with a devoted fan base. John Calhoun's simple idea of guiding a paper airplane through a house had spread widely as a shareware title, but he wanted to push it further. That chance came in 1991, when Cassidy and Green published Glider 4.0 as the first full commercial release in the series. This version made a big leap forward. It introduced color graphics, while still running on older black and white Macs like the Macintosh Plus. Under the hood, Calhoun reworked the game almost entirely, rewriting code, adding features, and giving it a more polished look. What truly set Glider 4 apart were the new tools for players. For the first time, you could save and load your games, making long play sessions more manageable. Even more importantly, the game shipped with a level editor, giving players the power to design and share their own houses. This transformed Glider from a single-player curiosity into the foundation for a community, where players traded custom creations through early online services like AOL and bulletin boards. Glider 4.0 shipped with 60 rooms, each packed with obstacles and little surprises that made the house feel alive in new ways. The familiar mechanics of riding vents and dodging hazards remained, but now the dangers were more varied and unpredictable. Players had to contend with mysterious helicopters, sparking outlets, and the dreaded paper shredder, while also navigating around goldfish jumping out of their bowls, bouncing basketballs, and dripping pipes. The goal never changed: guide your fragile plane through every room and escape out the window. But the journey had become richer, trickier, and far more memorable. On top of that, new power-ups added strategy. Batteries let you boost forward to clear obstacles, and rubber bands could be fired to disable enemies from a distance. Some rooms even leaned towards puzzles, where switches controlled airflow, toggled lights, or changed the environment in ways that demanded timing and planning. The groundwork laid here would directly fuel the series' most ambitious leap just a few years later: Glider Pro. Glider 4.0 was a turning point, but in 1994, the series reached its peak with Glider Pro. If Glider 4 felt like a polished step up from the shareware days, Pro was a true expansion. Larger, more ambitious, and designed to showcase just how far the paper airplane concept could go. The biggest change was in scope. Houses were no longer just single buildings stitched together one room at a time. In Glider Pro, levels could sprawl into multiple interconnected structures, complete with back alleys, gardens, rooftops, and even open skies. The level editor returned, now more powerful than ever. Players could import their own artwork and sounds, turning Glider into a canvas for creativity. This feature sparked a vibrant community that designed everything from castles to supermarkets, each house reflecting the imagination of its creator. It wasn't just about beating levels anymore, it was about exploring what other people dreamed up. Gameplay deepened as well. Glider Pro added new power-ups like aluminum foil, which shielded the plane from collisions, and helium tanks, which let the glider float upwards. Many of the hazards from Glider 4, like darts, balloons, fish, basketballs, and bread-flinging toasters, returned to keep players on edge. On top of that, houses now stretch into outdoor areas like gardens and rooftops, giving the paper airplane journey a much bigger stage. And then there was Slumberland, the flagship house bundled with the game. With more than 400 rooms, it was a massive showcase of what Pro could do. The later CD releases added around 14 of the best fan-made houses, underscoring how central the community had become. Glider Pro preserved the whimsy of the original while scaling it into something almost endless. It was part game, part creative platform, and the culmination of Calhoun's vision. After Pro, the series would fall silent for years, but this version left a mark strong enough that fans kept it alive long after. After the ambitious scale of Glider Pro, the series went quiet for over a decade. In 2011, Glider resurfaced in a new form, Glider Classic. This wasn't just a port, it was a thoughtful reimagining of the game for a modern audience, released first for iOS and later for Mac OS via the Mac App Store. As the name implies, Glider Classic looked back to the original formula, smoothing out the experience while updating it for new hardware. The graphics took on a clean, paper-like style, bright and inviting, compared to the dithered look of the 90s versions. It was still the familiar journey through a house filled with vents, candles, and obstacles, but everything had a fresh coat of paint. One of the most notable changes was the difficulty balance. Earlier Glider games could be unforgiving, with one wrong bump sending your paper plane into the trash heap. In Glider Classic, the rules were softened. Now you could bump into walls or balloons without instantly losing a life, making it much more approachable for casual players. The game kept the charm and tension of navigating hazards, but it was no longer as punishing. At its heart, Glider Classic was still a single-player, room-by-room action puzzler, a modern face for one of Macintosh's most beloved shareware titles. It gave fans a way to relive the experience without dragging out an old Mac or setting up emulators, and it introduced new players to the concept of gliding through houses powered only by vents and air currents. Unfortunately, there's a bittersweet note. As of today, Glider Classic is no longer available for purchase on Apple's App Store. Unless you already grabbed it when it was current, the official way to play it is gone. That said, its existence helped bridge the gap between the 90s heyday and modern preservation efforts, keeping Glider alive just a little longer in the spotlight. Glider Classic showed that the series could adapt, but its disappearance also highlighted how fragile digital game history can be. Luckily, the Glider story doesn't end there, because fan projects and community ports would step up to keep the airplane flying. Even though Glider Classic eventually disappeared from the App Store, fans weren't ready to let the series fade away. Over the years, they've kept the airplane flying through their own projects and ports. One of the earliest was Glider Web, a browser-based recreation that let you play Glider right inside your browser window. While it doesn't run on today's browsers anymore, it captured the spirit of Glider Pro and introduced the series to a new wave of curious players during the early 2000s. Then came Glider for NES, an impressive homebrew port that reimagined the game on Nintendo's 8-bit hardware. Released as a physical cartridge, it included dozens of custom-designed rooms and showed how flexible Glider's core mechanics were. If it could run on a Macintosh Plus or an NES, it could run anywhere. One fan even brought the game backwards in time with Glider for Apple II, a faithful recreation coded for that earlier platform, complete with mouse support. It was a neat twist, as if Glider had existed in Apple II's heyday alongside classics like Choplifter. The preservation efforts got a huge boost in 2016 when John Calhoun released the source code for Glider 4.0 and Glider Pro under open licenses. That move gave the community free rein to study, port, and adapt the game, leading to modern projects like Aerofoil, which keep Glider accessible on current systems. What ties all this together is Glider's unique place in gaming history. It wasn't about shooting or violence, it was about physics, patience, and imagination. That combination made it stand out on the Mac back in the late 80s, and it's why people are still finding ways to keep it alive today. And that's the journey of Glider, from a simple paper airplane game to a beloved Mac classic. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, and you might also like this full review I did about Glider Pro. That was a fun video. Thanks for your time today. Goodbye.